What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Before we start, we did pick the winner for the NES Classic. An email's been sent and I'm waiting to hear back. So if I don't hear back, I'll have to pick another winner and we'll kind of go from there. So if I don't hear back by later on tonight, we'll redo the pick and everything, and then I'll basically go until somebody responds. Hopefully by tomorrow I can have an announcement with the name and everything, and I should post it on Twitter as well. So keep an eye there. We will start our next giveaway, and I was trying to figure out what to do, and I think we'll go with Monster Hunter, because that's a game I have a hard time getting into Monster Hunter. I keep looking at it, I'm like, all right, I'll take another shot this time with Generations Ultimate. So I think we're going to give away 2 copies, so there'll be 2 winners this time rather than just 1, so there's a good chance, obviously, there than if you just get 1 winner. So we're going to give away 2 copies of Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate on the Nintendo Switch. So if you want to enter for that, there's a new link down in the description. You can enter there. And today, we have to get into some stuff, because Activision is, I don't even know what they're doing with Spyro at this point, but we got to go over this. It's one of the weirdest things about Spyro popped up. Something you wouldn't expect to happen to the PS4 and the Xbox One version, something we've grown accustomed to sometimes with the Switch version where you have to download a part of the game. Seems to be the way they're going to go with the PS4 and the Xbox One version. Very weird. We're going to talk about that. NPD numbers came out, and Nintendo surprised big time. Seriously, we're going to get into that. You might be surprised as to which system came in first. And anyway, let's get into some of the quick news first. Flipping Death, which is a game that we found out about, I believe, last February. I remember seeing a full trailer and everything then. This was over a year ago. It is coming out now August 7th. So yes, it's another one of those games where they're like, surprise, it's out next week. But it is coming out on pretty much all platforms: PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and it's going to retail for $19.99. Now, the game itself had kind of an interesting art style, I guess, when I first saw it, but the idea is you actually flip the entire world around. You possess living and use them to solve puzzles and everything. It looks at least interesting enough. I think they're going to send over a review key, so I will check it out, and we'll see how the game plays and everything, and get an idea as to exactly what this is. Like I said, the art style is the big thing that caught my eye, and then I guess the idea of flipping the world around where you possess living people and trying to solve their issues through puzzles and everything sounded cool enough as well. It's coming out again August 7th. Then we finally found out what the August Game Pass games would be. They pretty much announced that. Larry Herb did on his Twitter, Major Nelson, on the 1st of August. Usually here a little earlier than that, but I guess they were just running late for whatever reason, licensing or who knows. But anyway, we now know the games, and honestly, they're pretty good. They are. We have Rise, Son of Rome, which is one that people are telling me I should try out. I actually have not played Rise at all, because when it originally came out on the Xbox, I had got a PS4, I believe, first, so I was playing there first. So I will go back and check out Rise on the Xbox One X and everything on 4K monitor. I think that'll look pretty good, so I will go check that out. And then we also have Hitman Season 1, which is a good one. Great game to check out. I mean, seriously, we have, of course, the sequel coming out later on this year. That's a good one to get right away. Dead Rising 2, The Escapist. Then we also have Dendara, Ruiner, and then Rush. Ruiner's another good one to check out as well. But that's actually a solid lineup for Game Pass. I'll have to see what they pull out, because, of course, they take games out generally, so we'll see if they drop any games that are big. But so far, I mean, having Rise and then Hitman Season 1 there, those are some good games to try to get you to pay $10 a month with that library that is building big time. Then we also found out PlayStation's PlayStation Plus games for August. Of course, these are the games you get if you pay the monthly fee for PlayStation Plus to play online. They give you games every month, and it looks like they have some bigger ones here. Mafia 3 seems to be headlining the whole thing, but they also have Dead by Daylight there as well. But Mafia 3, at least, to me, is probably the big one on this list. Now, if you're on PlayStation 3, you also have access to Bound by Flame and then Serious Sam 3. PlayStation Vita owners have access to Draw Slasher and Warhammer 40,000 Space Hulk. So that's a pretty good lineup as well. Mafia 3 was okay. I know it wasn't the greatest game or anything, but that's actually not a bad lineup for PlayStation Plus. But I keep looking at Game Pass and then Xbox Live Games with Gold. I think they have the better month this month with some of their selections. So, yeah, I mean, you can't argue with that. Technically getting games added on your subscription service. So this is, I guess, good for everyone. But Mafia 3 on one side, Forza Horizon 2 on the other. There's good stuff there. Some of the quick stuff out of the way, guys. Let's jump into some of the bigger stuff. We got to start with Activision and this whole Spyro Reignited trilogy issue here. So this is very, very weird, because people spotted on the box art that was put out that a download would be required, which was weird. Okay, a download's required. Usually a download might be a day one patch to fix some things or something like that. Not really required, though. It was very odd. Those are the kind of messages we're used to now on, on the Switch. For example, LA Noire, you gotta download a good chunk of that, right? WWE 2K18, game's terrible, you gotta download a good chunk of it, though. Doom, if you wanna play multiplayer, you're downloading. Wolfenstein, you get the idea, right? You're downloading. But to see it shift over to a PS4, Xbox One game when they have access to 50 gigabyte Blu-ray discs, or in some cases when you have the X Legacy Collection where they want it to be two different SKUs, they put two different Blu-rays in there because Blu-rays aren't very expensive. What's weird here, though, is you need to download something. And we were like, all right, what do you need to download? You go to the website, and people spotted that you have to download the second and the third Spyro game. The first one appears to be what comes on the disc. And that's just confusing because Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy came completely on the disc. So what's going on here? And honestly, it's anyone's guess right now, especially leading up to the release, because I have a feeling they could have fit all three of these games on one 50 gigabyte disc. They fit Crash Bandicoot on, I believe, a 25 gigabyte disc, or if they put it on a 50 gig dual layer for whatever reason, they had plenty of room to spare, and that was 3 games as well. So what's going on here with Spyro? Well, there are a lot of theories out there right now. There are theories ranging from the second and third game is not finished yet, and they're going to be working on it while they're printing the first one on the disc, which is a weird idea. I feel like they just wouldn't put it out if that was the case. They would have delayed it or something. The other thought is Activision could be actively battling against the used market by basically making the game heavily gimped if you don't buy it new. Now, there are a few other things here. Let's say you buy it and you put the disc in, and then from the disc you download from a menu, and it's not necessarily codes. Well, if that happens, I have no idea what's going on, unless somehow the first game is like 40 gigabytes, in which case I would just ask why. I actually expect this to be that on the disc and then codes coming with it, because then what's the point in buying it used at that point? You're just getting the first game. This is just super weird. I mean, they could have probably just put it on 3 different Blu-rays if it was a space issue, or 2 different ones, but I don't think this game is like 80 gigabytes. That would be insanity. So I have no idea what's going on here. No one seems to. Everyone just seems to be frustrated by it, and honestly, I don't blame them. You're basically going to buy it and get 1 game on the disc, and then you need to download the other 2. At least that's how it's looking right now, and we don't have any comment from Activision currently, despite everyone seemingly reaching out to them for comment on this. It just seems to be something they're doing. I mean, come on, even Capcom was willing to put both X Legacy Collection or just Mega Man Legacy Collection on 2 different discs rather than give you a disc and a code. Sure, they did it for the Switch version, but I believe that's because of cartridge costs, and Capcom doesn't want to put any more money into that $40 game, I guess, whatever. But with the discs, they actually gave you 2 of them for the PS4 and the Xbox One. This is just a weird situation with Activision, but maybe they can take the cheapness crown from Capcom here. I don't know. We'll see, because if the file size comes out for the first one and it's like 13 gigabytes, people are going to be looking for reasons why, and I think it might come down to them battling the used market, especially if it's codes in the box. We'll see. Next up, I got something for all of you big Undertale fans, because I know there are some really big Undertale fans out there. We know it was coming to the Switch. They announced it, and it was in that Direct and whatnot. Oh, cool, Undertale, that's really neat. Of course, it was on the PlayStation 4, the Vita, and the PC and everything. That's great. But check this out. They're having a full collector's edition, and man, this thing looks pretty good. Seriously, as far as we know right now, it's only in Japan. That's the thing. We don't know if it's going to be coming west or anywhere else in the world, so you might have to import it if you really want it. And according to Famitsu, it's coming September 15th, and we're thinking right now that probably is going to be the date, I guess, everywhere else, or at least it gives us an idea, because that actually aligns with the anniversary of the game's original release on PC, so I get why they would do that. But man, this collector's edition looks awesome. It's going to have a full 24-page booklet. They're going to have a 2-CD soundtrack, a Toby Fox commentary, 14-karat gold coated music box pennant, and 1 of 6 randomly selected bookmarks, and 1 of 3 randomly selected cloth. So this is a great piece for the collection from what I can see here. I know there's some big Undertale fans out there, like I was saying, and yeah, if you were looking to get it for the Switch anyway because you're collecting all the different Undertales, this looks like the piece to get for the collection. We'll just have to see if it's showing up anywhere else in the world, because trying to import this stuff can be kind of a pain. So I hope they decide to bring it everywhere else. I actually think it'd be kind of weird if they didn't, but we'll see if any company picks up the publishing for it. Next up, let's talk about the Media Create sales charts over in Japan. These are, of course, the charts that track physical sales every week in Japan, give us actual numbers, which no other region really does that. Even when like the NPD does report, they tell us in like places and stuff and percentages, not really solid numbers. These are solid numbers. Let's start right away with the top 10. The Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2 on the PS4 actually topped the charts, 29,270. Yes, it was a down week overall because something sub 30,000 is topping the charts. Of course, we have the Taiko Drum and Fun right below that, 28,265. Splatoon 2, which will never leave the top 10. I really don't think it will. 20,344. That is actually right there. It's probably by next week we will see 2.5 million units overall sold for Splatoon 2, which is very, very big for a region like Japan, especially when we saw the actual numbers for like the entire world being around 6.5 million. That's good stuff. Mario Tennis Aces, 18,067. There's the Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2 for the Switch at the 5th spot, and that one sold 16,207. So the PS4 version still actually sold 13,000 more, and the other one, because that's 1 and 2, and then you also have another SKU all the way down at number 18. I'll just let you know that. Mega Man X Legacy Collection, and that's just X1 through X4. That was 4,246. They had more options than we did here over in the US or other parts of the world over in Japan for the X Legacy Collection. Minecraft at number 6, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at number 7. Octopath Traveler continues to fall down the charts, and a lot of that has to do with stock problems, 13,238. At number 8, and that seriously just keeps dropping. We heard that there was a restock last week, but it sold out. We heard that there was a restock 2 days ago. That sold out. Apparently, the very large restock is coming in 2 weeks to Japan in August, so we'll find out here what kind of numbers they can pull there. It's a shame to see that really be just completely strangled by stock issues. Captain Toad, Treasure Tracker number 9, and then we have Collar X Malice at 7,695, rounding out the top 10. Moving over to systems, we have Nintendo Switch at the top, 48,370. We have the PS4 below that, 18,645. 3DS, 8,714. And then the PlayStation Vita, 3,414. The Xbox One was significantly down, as usual, 365 units. And really, if I look down the charts, everything was pretty much down. It was just a down week overall just for sales in Japan. And really, we'll see what happens going forward here with Octopath. That's the one I want to keep an eye on because I'm curious how long it's going to sell since it's been really, just stock constrained. And we haven't heard anything from Square at all just about overall sales because we have to wait for it to come from them if they want to tell us any sales numbers. It's not up to Nintendo to really tell us that. But a down week overall. Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2 did fairly well on both the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch, as I kind of expected. And we'll see if Capcom takes some cues here from that, and they really do have Mega Man X9 kind of in development, in the wings right now. I hope so, and I hope they're going to tell us about it after Mega Man 11 launches, which I think that game will also have a very successful launch. Next up, let's talk about the NPD sales for the month of June. This, of course, is in the US and gives us an idea as to where things rank, how each system did. And if we go by the big three, just the standard home consoles, the Xbox One, the Switch, the PS4 was the top selling system in terms of revenue and placement out of those three. But there was another system that actually came out right at the end of the month. Remember, it came out June 29th. And that is the NES Classic. And guess what? That was technically the best-selling system in terms of units, and it did it in like 2 days. The PS4 was the best in terms of revenue, obviously. It's much more expensive than the NES Classic, pretty much across the board there, so that makes sense, but the NES Classic was the number one selling system in terms of units sold. Let's take a look at the top 10, because you're going to be a bit surprised here. Number 1, Mario Tennis Aces. And what's interesting about this chart, it doesn't count eShop sales. That's all physical, whereas they count like digital sales for pretty much, I think, most of the other games on this list. I think they have some issue with EA and Blizzard stuff, I believe. But going down from there, God of War, which has been doing very well in the NPDs, by the way, even in its third full month, I think, here, since it launched back midway through April. Number 2, Grand Theft Auto 5, which I wish it just won't go away. I wish it would go away. But Rockstar just really hangs out because GTA 5 is always here in the NPDs. The Crew 2 below that, number 4, Far Cry 5, Mario Kart 8 obviously does not track eShop sales once again, just to let you know. Lego Incredibles below that, FIFA 18, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, and then Detroit Become Human actually still in the top 10. Overall, it was a big month for just video games in general, selling over $1 billion in revenue. All console manufacturers had sold better this year than last June, with like for example, the Switch being 50% up, same with the Xbox One and everything. It's just a good month overall for games. Seriously, everything sold. Mario Tennis Aces though, who expected that one? That game came out on the 22nd and it cruised, according to them, instantly to being the best-selling tennis game for Nintendo, which, I mean, you only have so many to compare it to, obviously, but hey, Mario Tennis Aces, we saw that it sold, almost 1.4 million in roughly 9 days on the market. So yeah, obviously it would jump very highly in the NPDs. It's a good game. I think they should do some more work to it, patches and everything. But yeah, good month for Nintendo. Obviously, they were the best-selling publisher. They technically had the best-selling system units-wise. Sony, obviously, big presence in the top 10 there with Microsoft and their third-party games. State of Decay 2 kind of fell off. Overall, good month for everyone completely. And Nintendo with the NES Classic at number 1 for units sold, and Sony at the top for revenue generated by their PS4. And guys, that's where we're going to leave Newswave today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button, guys. Really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. If you want to hear about news every weekday morning, make sure you guys hit the little subscribe button next to me now, and let me know your comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it's Activision and the whole Spyro situation. Why do you think they're doing this whole download the other 2 games? You get the first one, I guess, on the disc. Let me know about that down below. What about the Media Create sales and the NPD charts? Were you surprised that the NES Classic jumped to the top in just 2 days? Let me know, guys, down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.